Okay, so I'm back with Kaiser Redo, and we just got this minor event about the Australasian Confederation. So anyway, trade initiative from the Australasian Confederation. The government of the Australasian Confederation has approached us regarding the possibility of a new bilateral trade agreement between our countries. In return for dropping the tariffs in place currently restricting imports, they promise to do the same for Canadian goods. So if we say yes, this would benefit us both. We get political power and trade relations increase, or we say no, we can't be bothered with this, we lose political power and uh, lose opinion with them. I don't see a reason not to, so I'm going to say yes, this would benefit us both. There we go. Also in this part, we should be getting New England finally. So we got a couple of events that just popped up at the same time, and I'm going to read the one about New England last. Refugees flood into upstate New York. With the situation in America worsening, it's no surprise that the Kingdom of Canada has become the top destination for those fleeing the violence. Many of the immigrants are illegal, but an increasingly large number are not. Already there are several refugee camps in upstate New York, many of them coming from Pennsylvania, and the numbers are putting a strain on our supplies. Observers comment that the situation is likely to get worse before it gets better. American refugees, the irony, so we lose 20% of supplies in upstate New York. Anyway, time for this one. The Royal Navy seizes Puerto Rico. After seizing New England, the Royal Navy set out to the Caribbean to seize the island of Puerto Rico. While the local National Guard wasn't informed of Canada attempting to take over, they quickly stood down as they realized they had no chance of defeating the island against the new occupiers. While many Americans from Puerto Rico are returning to the mainland to fight the Civil War, others have chosen to stay and pledge their allegiance to us in exchange for keeping their jobs. Nevertheless, our control over the Caribbean is now even stronger. So we get a job well done, which we become the owner and controller of Puerto Rico, and the U.S. gets an event saying we seize it. Oh well. So I screwed up in recording basically all of part 4, because when I started to try to go down the path I wanted to, instead of making them like angry so they rise up, I made them happy so they never rose up. Anyway, we had to get back to that point so I could fix it, because I kept saving over it thinking I was going the right way. So, the question of New England. Now that we have intervened in New England, a number of Canadian ministers have met with leaders from those states regarding how best to keep order. The states have suggested setting up a provisional government for the region, one that would, at least initially, be under our control and brought into the Entente Alliance. Some members of the government, however, have suggested it would be better if we simply occupied and administered the territory ourselves. Americans, they say, can sometimes be of suspect loyalty, grateful or not. Their goals may not mirror our own. So to go the path I want to, we have to ensure loyalty, and I'm playing as New England, so release New England but ensure loyalty, which gives us stability plus 1%. Before setting the national focuses, we'll look at some of the starting stuff about New England. Like this national spirit, we have limited recognition, which we lose 0.3 political power, and we have a trade deal opinion factor minus 50%. And we're an authoritarian democracy. Authoritarian democracy is an ideology that combines a strong executive power with a representative parliament and a partial democratic political system. Authoritarian democratic regimes also often take a conservative stance on social issues and promote liberal capitalist economies with limited state intervention. The aim of these regimes are to maintain national stability and provide the people with a popular and responsible government. We don't really have a person in charge, just the Hartford Convention, which I can't figure out what that building is. I assume it's something in Hartford, but I've never been there. Provisional Government is also what the ruling party is called. With New England being established as an independent nation, a provisional government has been assembled to oversee the nation for the time being. Until a proper leader is elected, the Hartford Convention will govern the nation of New England. I'm not going for any of the branches under this one. I just can't choose any of the Army or Navy or any focuses till I do this. Anyway, so, America's darkest hour. With the rest of the United States consumed by war, New England has managed to become a safe harbor in a storm of chaos. We must reassure those in our borders that the provisional government is our only hope of freedom and safety. So our stability goes up by 50%, and our legitimacy also increases by 5, which I don't know what legitimacy does, but we'll see. The Provisional Government of New England. Thanks to our allies in Canada, we have set up a provisional government in Boston as we prepare to liberate the rest of our country. Unfortunately, not many people, both in and out of the states in New England, believe that we are the true and legitimate America, and we must rectify this problem. Don't tread on me. Political power plus 10. So when I originally seen this event, I was confused about who Albert was till I looked it up. Albert was the original name of King George VI. Just in our time, he took the name George instead of becoming King Albert. Anyway, the new Governor General. Canada has ordered the appointment of a Governor General to oversee New England. Many with New England had hoped that New England would become a full republic once independence was granted. Although his hopes appear to have been dashed, for now we still embrace democracy and are marginally independent from Canada. However, this is a worrying sign for things to come. Perhaps Canada could impose perhaps Canada could impose its complete will on us. I think it should be impose its complete will on us. The position of Governor General has been handed to Prince Albert, second in line for the throne and brother of current King Edward VIII. He will guide New England yet have no power, just like as in Australia or India. However, more elite members of society want to do away with this, instead install Albert as King of New England. We are loyal to the crown. So I forgot to mention this, when it switched us to having Albert, or George VI, whatever, as king, we didn't change government type from authoritarian democracy, which I thought it would have changed us to the House of Windsor, but anyway. Albert of Windsor. He's a foreign monarch. We have political power gain plus 3% now. We lose 4% stability, and we also get 3% war support. Also, it changed the name of our country to the Dominion of New England. We also got this little thing we can do, a decision. Join the ISAC. The Imperial Scientific and Academic Council is a leading institution in the Entente. By joining it, we will be able to benefit from its world-renowned research capabilities. So all we had to do is be in a faction with the King of Canada, which we are. So I'm going to do this because there's no reason not to. It helps us out. Invitation to the IEDC. A delegation from the Canadian government arrived today to formally invite the Dominion of New England to join the IEDC, the Imperial Economic Development Council. The IEDC was created to foster greater economic cooperation within the Entente, with yearly and voluntary contributions of political power which are invested back in member nations at the discretion of the Kingdom of Canada. There are those in the government who express concern that the Dominion of England will actually see a return of this investment, seeing as the Kingdom of Canada could simply decide to invest everything in itself. But considering donations are voluntary, it seems like that would ensure a short life for the IEDC. Since it's not guaranteed we'll get the political power, I'm just going to join and invest 25 political power. So we lose 25 political power, which I think that will put us into the negatives, but oh well. Yep, I was right, negative 10 political power. IEDC advisors. Our contribution to the IEDC allows us to take advantage of their pool of advisors, the benefit from which is greater depending on how much we contributed to the group. How shall we use them over the next year? So we can get them to assist with our economy, which gives resource gain efficiency, but we lose consumer goods factories, but we get more factory output for a year, or we get dockyard output, naval refitting speed, or ship repair speed if we could really use their naval engineers, or construction engineers would be very helpful, which we get construction speed plus 10% per year. It's between the economy or construction, but I guess I'll go with the economy, I guess. Get them to assist with our economy. God save King the new king. I don't know if they meant to say King Albert there, but anyway. Weeks ago, Prince Albert of Windsor was sworn in as Governor General by a Canadian-led court. A majority noble and autocratic board of advisors runs New England from the shadows. They spelled shadows with 2 Ds. While Albert feels free to disregard the will of the Hartford Convention, today, though, a stunning turn of events was witnessed, when Governor General Albert of Windsor was officially crowned as King of New England. Nobles and Canadians rejoice. They spelled rejoice wrong, I think, too, as citizens scorn. King Albert of Windsor is officially regarded the Republic dead, as he becomes essentially an absolute monarch. God save the king. Also, they said weeks ago he became Governor General, even though it was only like 5 days ago. Anyway, we should be the Kingdom of New England now, I think. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure. So I was right, we became the Kingdom of New England, and we now have Albert I as the monarch, which still has the same effects, just different name. but the House of Windsor is now in power as the paternal autocrats. House of Windsor, New England branch. After the seizure of New England by Canada, the region was put under the influence of British modeled systems. This has had the consequence of Canada attempting to enforce more monarchist systems on New England, perhaps to the point where New England could become a formal monarchy with a Windsor on the throne. Now I'm going to go read about the paternal autocrats. Paternal autocracy is not a political ideology in the normal sense of the word, but rather a general term for the attitude that these governments hold towards their citizens. The people are all subjects of the leader, either a monarch or a dictator, and it is the leader's job and duty to lead the state and society towards the righteous and best path while uniting the people under his benevolent protection. These countries usually have a very authoritarian government, conservative social views, and a state-controlled economy. So, yeah, it's just a different type of government. This is going to be very brief, but we also lost the limited recognition, national spirit idea, whatever you want to call it, because I guess we didn't know fit the prerequisites anymore. The government idea of limited recognition has been removed because prerequisites are no longer fulfilled. I don't know, but I assume that means like Canada recognizes us now. The Boston Massacre. As tensions stir in New England, the most radical of the Anglophiles have been drawn to the side of the Loyal Coalition, headed by H.P. Lovecraft. Lovecraft and his small group of writers have taken to the city of Providence to plot. However, anything coming out of this is unlikely due to Lovecraft's seclusion. The Irish in New England have also begun to take arms, as they believe that the radical Anglophiles will soon drive them out. These tensions that had been simmering below the surface finally erupted today. When protests erupted in Boston today with the coronation of an autocratic king, most New Englanders have declared Canada and the Windsors illegitimate. People have been in an uproar and violence has been widespread. The largest of these protests have been in Boston, the nation's capital. As the Irish and the England, I think there should be the English, take up arms against each other, Canada desperately tries to bring stability to New England to no avail. And in the end, Canada may have to take sides in what is rapidly becoming a civil war. If such a war is to occur within New England, Canada has its eye on the most radical Anglophiles, those who will ensure Canada's rule over New England is secure. Fire all your rounds, which minuses 100 political power, or the citizens have stormed the Parliament, which that's the route I'm going to go with because I want to see what happens when H.P. Lovecraft was in power. I was originally going to go for a monarchy, but I changed my mind. New England's last hope. After the massacre in Boston, New England fell into anarchy. James Curley and his army seized the north as Loyalists fled south, and from the Loyalists rose an unexpected figure. H.P. Lovecraft rose to the favor of all the pure Anglos in New England and rallied the Providence Society together with the Loyalists to wage war against the impure traders to the north. A civil war has erupted, Providence's new crusade against the impure. This comes as a shock not just to the people of New England, but the world, as Lovecraft's isolation and paranoia has made it almost impossible for him to achieve any sort of political power. However, something has changed in Lovecraft. Perhaps he knows that he is near death. Perhaps his overwhelming hatred of the Irish Catholics drove him. Whatever the case may be, Lovecraft and his allies in the Loyal Coalition marched for Boston, the center of the Irish scourge. There, Lovecraft and his allies within the Providence Society are expected to make an address, a prospect that terrifies the timid Lovecraft. As a small group of writers and loyalists quickly assume control of the nation, Canada sends their full support to the new Providence government, as they see this as the only hope to secure New England under Canadian and Anglo rule. Only Lovecraft can save us now, which makes national populism 20% stronger. Providence Society becomes the ruling party. The capital moves to Rhode Island, specifically Providence, and we get H.P. Lovecraft, Frank Belknap, Long, R.H. Barlow, and August Derleth. The Kingdom of New England just becomes New England, and we get a national spirit, which is the New England Civil War, which we lose 0.10 political power and 10% stability. We gain a national spirit, Christian resistance, which grants political power gain minus 0.50, stability minus 50%. So we're just running this into the ground. And daily radical socialist support plus 0.02. Also daily social democracy support plus 0.02. We also lose cores on Vermont and it becomes demilitarized, New Hampshire and it becomes demilitarized, and Maine and it becomes demilitarized, and New York, upstate New York and it becomes demilitarized. So if Lovecraft's the last option, that's not a good thing, like if he's the only one that can save us, because he was a good author and all, but a terrible person. Also, I'm going to end it there with Lovecraft coming in power. That's about all the time we had for this part anyway, so goodbye for now.